I'm uploading a really cool video that is talking about God and religion is an illusion. You're delusional. I really, really love it because it does answer an awful lot of things. Our belief systems are completely screwed up. Now, I personally believe there's a God. There's something bigger than us that created it. I personally spoke with this voice, this imaginary thing that's out there. And I ended up learning about this from the time I was really, really young and was being abused. And this voice would answer me and ultimately would help me. So I kind of knew that, okay, if I ask questions out into the universe, I get an answer. And it all depended on what kind of question I was asking. If I was asking bad questions, I'd get bad answers. And so it was a study of what the hell is going on here? What's the truth? And I've been studying this since I was a kid. And really I went to a lot of religion. I went to a lot of different churches. And zero of them offered any form of help. It was all cope and deal. And, let's just be a community, but community that doesn't help each other. So it was more offensive to go into a building when you really, really need help from society and they just sort of pat you on the back saying, it's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay. I need this stopped and stop now. And is there a God? And I need him and I need help from. I've never ever seen God come down and help anybody. So, I was on this path to try and understand some meaning in life. And while I think that there is a God, I'm I'm not about to convince anybody else to hold my beliefs. All I'm looking at is I'm talking to a voice that kind of helps me understand some stuff. And, that's the only thing that ended up helping me. And it's like, okay, we have these Bibles that say God helps those who help themselves. Well, that statement seems to be true because my life gets better the more I help myself. When I rely on the universe or other people to help me, nobody shows up. So I do think that that law would apply to everybody. When I'm looking at my world through a bubble and I form a new rule for myself, I see how that rule would apply to everybody else on the friggin' planet. And it's like, well, if that rule applies to me, would that rule apply to everybody else? Yeah. And when I see that it applies, the same laws can apply to everybody else on the planet, then I kind of think maybe it's a good idea. I think if everybody on the planet solved their own problems and knew that you had a power to solve all your problems, then would we experience a different world? If we stopped relying on other people to save us and we just saved ourselves, is that possible that we would change our life experiences? I also notice that the more I push my ideas on how to help other people, not necessarily a good idea because a lot of people had ideas that they thought would help me, and that wasn't a good thing. So, if me helping other people and pushing my ideas on other people, if it doesn't work for me when other people do it, then it's chances are when I offer advice to other people, that's not going to be a good idea either. So, I know that without a doubt, good intentions can do a lot of harm. Happen to know that when I wake up every day and I have an intention for myself, then all of a sudden intentions kind of work. So, kind of see that there is a law that if you have a good intention to go and put something positive into the world, you'll do more harm. But if you put an intention on yourself, what is it you intend to do for yourself? Do you intend to be productive today? Do you intend to be happy today? Do you intend to feel prosperous today? Do you intend to feel confident today? What is your intentions when you wake up every morning and when you go to bed every morning? Then I kind of notice what makes things get attracted. Kind of notice that what I focus on, what I believe to be true, is what creates my reality. So it almost seems like what we think about creates our reality. So wouldn't it be healthier to think of good things? You know, we're in a stage of waking up and there's a lot of bad shit going on, but instead of looking at people, you know, doing something negative and wrong out to the world, it's like if we put them down, if we form enemies with them, don't really like the war experience. So how can I be peaceful with people that I see are kind of hurting other people? Kind of understand that they just don't know what they're doing. They aren't kind of awake to how they're affecting other people. So it's so much easier to forgive when people are doing harm on the planet, because you can see they just don't know what they're doing. They aren't connected to other people and see how their intentions are hurting other people. So forgiving, our enemies, kind of seeing that our enemies just don't know what they're doing, is so much easier to forgive and love them. It appears to me when I'm angry, anger grows. I see everything to sustain my anger. And then I'm living all of my experiences in anger. So if that law is true, then if I live my life with love and love everybody else, love also tends to grow. The more I'm loving and happy inside me, the more strangers come up and just say hi and with a smile, like my whole world changes, my whole perspective changes when I change inside me. So would that work with everybody else? Yes. So the way I've ended up figuring out what is true and what isn't true, and noticing patterns within patterns within patterns, our evolution, we have parents that create babies. So we as humans, where did we come from? Obviously, we came from something else. We came from a parent type being that gave birth to humanity. It's just another bubble. Where are we headed? Seems to me when babies are born, they mature. So maybe humanity is just maturing and we're finding our way and we will evolve into something else. I'm kind of a parent with 4 children. These kids are now adults. you know, as a parent, I can't come in and save them. It doesn't seem to work. So that might be why this God or bigger thing doesn't come down and save us, because it doesn't tend to work. Our development appears to be we need to learn through our experiences and grow from them. So maybe that's why this bigger thing of where we came from isn't coming down to save us, because we need to grow and learn from our own experiences and evolve from this experience. Kind of have to know this is the biggest thing that I have recognized and have been awake for, and this is so friggin' true, that humanity appears to be dying. Every way we live our life is ultimately killing us. Generationally, through history, all we've seen is people die. Now, if we just tell stories, if reality is just about the story we tell based on our perceptions, we all seem to have this need to live. Yet we're doing all of the actions that kills us. So there's got to be something else that says our purpose is to live. And my research has found out that every single thing that's killing us, every disease has a cause. And all of these diseases, all of these illnesses are all related to how we perceive our world. It creates a lot of patterns, and these patterns are creating diseases that we're ultimately dying from. But all of this has been proven for more than 20 years that if you cure the causes of all of the problems that you're dealing with, it cures the diseases, it cures your illnesses. Now, this has been proven. time after time. I wouldn't believe this if I didn't see it for myself. That was the church that I went into that ended up saving me, was this concept. Oh, I'm responsible. Oh, I need to be accountable. Oh, it can actually cure the medical conditions that I'm told are impossible to cure. And I followed through on it and it worked. I think there's something to that. There may be nothing within history to confirm that delusion, but there is some reality that how you perceive reality is how you're going to feel it. So, and it ultimately is, it's just a story you want to tell yourself. So we can tell big bad stories and make those true, but we can tell really good stories and make that true. Our reality is created by the stories we make up. So why not make up a good story? Like, why don't we try and live? Why don't we try and be happy? Why don't we try and get along? Why don't we try and make a better world? Those are just seems like good stories to me to believe in. Peace.